Canelo Alvarez is going to go down as the biggest PUSSY in the history of boxing as he decides on his next opponent and forces David Benavidez to leave the weight class. Shame, shame, shame. Let's talk about that in this video. Canelo Alvarez fan speaking here. No more excuses for Canelo Alvarez. It's a wrap. This dude is tripping on an entire different level. Man, just retire. As a choice for his next opponent has been made, and it is Edgar Berlanga. Now, before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you guys so much for your continued support. Makes a huge difference to the channel. Let's get into this. So Canelo Alvarez decides that he is going to fight back-to-back Jaime Munguia and now Edgar Berlanga. There is not a major fighter out there that regularly engages in cupcake fights as much as Canelo Alvarez does. Edgar Berlanga does not belong in the ring for fighting for 4 major championship belts. It's absolutely ridiculous. Neither did Jaime Munguia, especially when your main opponent, the best guy in the division, is sitting there in David Benavidez. You have another guy in that division named David Morrell. Both of those fighters will whoop both Jaime Munguia and Edward Berlanga in the same ring, in the same day, maybe in the same fight. Canelo Alvarez's choices. Every once in a while, he'll fight somebody that with a pulse. Every once in a while. The last time he fought with somebody with a pulse was Jermell Charlo, who he brought up 2 weight classes to fight him. The last guy besides Jermell Charlo that he fought that had a pulse, in my opinion, was Caleb Plant. When he unified the division and got that, I do believe that was his last strap to get to become undisputed, Caleb Plant. But Caleb Plant was never the most dangerous opponent in that division. It was David Benavidez and Jermell Charlo wasn't even in the division, even though he had a big name. This is a big problem because it's unacceptable. Now, I'm also going to put this on another particular fight, one for Terrence Crawford and Jaron Ennis. If you do not accept this about Canelo, you really cannot accept what's going on with Terrence Crawford and Jaron Ennis either. Because in the situation with Canelo Alvarez is definitely doing what many Terrence Crawford fans say that he should be allowed to do, which is later in his career, just fighting people for paydays, fighting people that you know that you can beat so that you can build your legacy and put your money in the bank. Because that is clearly what he has to be doing when you fight back-to-back against Jaime Munguia, who never fought anybody at 154, never fought anybody at 160, and never fought anybody at 168, other than Canelo Alvarez's leftover and John Ryder. Then to fight Edward Berlanga, which now Munguia was one thing, but God dog, Berlanga, and I like Berlanga. Berlanga is a step down from Jaime Munguia. What's the difference with this and with Terrence Crawford moving up to 154 pounds to fight Madrimov and not staying and defending his belts against Jaron Ennis, who took Terrence's belt for the IBF. Honestly, man, not much. Other than you say, well, he's fighting for championships by going up. Look, man, what happens if Jaron Ennis moves to 154? The argument is still going to be there. Well, he's young. We're looking for championship belts. We're looking for other things. Look, man, if we're going to say, I can understand looking from the perspective of Terrence Crawford why he wouldn't fight Jaron Ennis, just like I can understand from the perspective of Canelo Alvarez why he wouldn't fight David Morrell or David Benavidez. But in the case of Canelo Alvarez, you give him an inch, he want to take a mile. And so back at 160 pounds when he didn't fight Demetrius Andrade, at 154 pounds when he didn't fight the Charlos at 154 pounds, and he didn't give Austin Trout his rematch, or didn't give Erislandy Lara his rematch, right? All those things. Oh, we understand it. We're on to big and better. We're on to bigger things, and then eventually people forget about it. This is a shame what is being done to David Benavidez. David Benavidez deserved that fight. He deserved to fight for undisputed at 168 pounds. But now he's decided that he's going to go for the winner of Dmitry Bivol and Arthur Beterbiev, looking for the undisputed title at 175 pounds. Hey, man, so be it for David Benavidez, but it's very, very sad that dude is not able to get what he deserves. And sometimes it's about what the other fighter deserves as much as it is about the fighter that you like and what you think they need to be doing for their career. Canelo Alvarez, there's just no other way than to describe this than to say, man, this dude is just a big disappointment, man. He's just a really, really big disappointment. And I was a fan of Canelo Alvarez early in his career. I stayed optimistic about Canelo Alvarez through his entire career. I still like Canelo Alvarez as a fighter, still enjoy seeing him fight and all of that. But, I mean, you just got to call it what you got to call it what it is, man. You got to call the card by if it's a heart, call it a heart. If it's a club, call it a club. Just call it what it is and talk about it for what it is. Canelo Alvarez is super prima donna, other level prima donna in the sport of boxing, and it should not be supported. I doubt very much, bro, that I'm going to buy a pay-per-view with Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga. There's just no reason for that fight to take place other than it be a stay busy for Canelo Alvarez fight and another way to wait David Benavidez out of that weight class, which he is finally done. I hope David Morrell stays there and David Morrell finds some way to force that fight with Canelo so we can see see these younger dudes who are in that weight class and the best in that division get an opportunity to fight for a championship and prove that they are what they say they are. And it's very unfortunate that Canelo Alvarez won't give him that opportunity. David Benavidez, however, is in the same position that Jaron Ennis is in with Terrence Crawford, because Terrence Crawford was the undisputed champion in that division. If Jaron Ennis was somebody like Gervonta Davis, much smaller guy with a bigger name, Terrence Crawford would still be at 147 pounds fighting him. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comments section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.